So take yourselves down onto the mat, getting ready for the practice. So whether you're lying on the mat or supported in a chair, just feel the body settling into the floor. Make sure that you're comfortable. That's it. And then it's that sort of coffee coldy weather, isn't it? You know, there's a lot going around at the minute. So, you know, if you are finding yourself coughing quite a lot, if you're lying on the floor, you can always sit upright and prop yourself up against the wall or something. You know, quite often we start coughing more when we lie down, don't we? So do what you need to do to feel comfortable. With your legs out straight or having the knees bent. Just feel the body settling into the floor, the weight of the body on the floor. We've got the aircon on, we've got the heating on, so hopefully you're feeling relatively warm. And just feel the weight of the body settling into the floor. If your legs are straight, just have them a little way apart and just allow the arms to be a little way from the sides of the body. And if your shoulders are comfortable, you can turn your arms out so that the back of your hands are on the floor. You know, you do what feels most comfortable for you. That's the most important thing. And with your eyes open or closed, and that's your choice, you may want them open if you're feeling a little bit more depressed today. I just want to take your awareness all the way down into your right foot. So just take your full awareness down into the right foot, all the way down into the toes, toe by toe. Scan your awareness across the toes and the ball of the foot, the sole of the foot, the heel, all the way up the ankle. And just take a little bit of time just to notice how the body feels from the inside. Maybe you can feel the pulse down there or the energy tingling, and just notice if you notice any areas of tension. And if you do this body scan, just breathe into that area or take your awareness down into that area and let it go. Let the tension go on the out-breath. Allowing your awareness to continue all the way up the leg, the calf, the knee, into the thigh, into the hip, the top of the hip. And just noticing on this right side how the body feels from the inside. Into the right side, the right waist, the right middle chest, all the way up into the right shoulder, and gently down the right arm, upper arm, through the elbow, into the wrist and the hand. And then do the same on the left side of the body, just a quick mindful body scan, really taking your attention and awareness into the left foot, all across each toe, and the ball of the foot, and the heel, all the way up the left leg, through the knee, the thigh, across and into the hip, and the top of the hip, and all the way up the left side into the shoulder. Noticing any areas of tension or tightness, and just breathing out and letting go. Breathe out and let go. All the way down the left arm. And when you finish that, just scan the face. Again, noticing any areas of tension or tightness. And the Om symbol, which we've talked about a little bit, is chanted as one long syllable. Om. And I want you very silently, just in your own mind, to take your awareness to the top of your head and breathe out one long out breath all the way down the front of your body. So as you breathe out with awareness and the movement of breath all the way down the front of the body, from the top of the head to the feet. Breathing out and scanning your awareness all the way down the front of the body on this long exhale. And do that once more, breathing out, nice long exhale. And the third time you do it, want to combine it with a silent chant of Om. So as you breathe out, a long slow exhale all the way down the front of the body, coordinate that with an internal silent chant of Om. Just do that twice. It's a very good way to focus on the out breath, which is the relaxing breath, and beginning the process of relaxing and calming the mind. And then let go of that practice. And we'll get ready for some movement. So just bring your legs together. Bring the arms closer into the sides of the body. And bend the legs at the knees. So bend one leg and then the other leg so that both knees are bent. The feet are flat on the floor. And take your arms, bend the arms at the elbows and take your hands around the back of your head. Interlace the hands around the back of the head. So you're just lying out with the arms out to each side. And bring your feet and knees together. So really bring the feet and the knees together. And we're going to do some lion twists. We're going to do 5 each side. So just be mindful of how you feel as you lie here. Make sure the shoulders feel relaxed. Scoot the heels comfortably close into the buttocks. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, drop your knees over to the right. And just turn your head to look a little bit to the left. Breathe in to come up. So the head comes up and the knees come up. And breathe out, drop the knees left, turn the head right. Breathe in to come up. Observe your energy as you do this and just keep doing this to each side. 4 more times to each side on the out breath. Working at a speed that matches your energy today. You may be feeling tired or you may be feeling restless. So you may want to go slow or you may want to speed it up a little bit. 5 times in total to each side, just moving with the breath. And you're going to finish on a left side, being observant of your energy. You okay? Yeah, just do what you feel like doing. Yeah. And just feel how the movements feel in the body, the stretch. From one hip to the opposite rib cage, across the body. Feel the opening in the posture in the area of the chest and the heart. This posture is quite unique in that it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system at the back of the sacrum and the back of the neck. And when you've finished, just bring your arms back to your side, but keep your knees bent. And we're going to come up to sitting. So just gently ease your hands underneath your spine. Just push yourselves up to a comfortable seated posture. Okay, how's everyone doing? All right, yeah. A few coughs and colds going on, but it's that time of year, isn't it? So if you can just come to a comfortable posture, bring the knees up. So both knees are bent. We're just going to do some hip openers. So if you're sitting on the blocks, perhaps just sit on the one block to begin with. Okay, otherwise have the knees bent. Straighten out the left leg and just keep your right knee bent. And just bring the foot close into the body. And hug around that leg, really hug that leg close in. And then lift the foot up and lean back a little bit. So you just kind of balanced on the buttocks and then just start to rock the legs. So rock into this right hip. Can you feel that? Just releasing and rocking into the right hip. Side to side, just to ease out through that right hip. Great. And then come to stillness. and just start to hold the low leg. So we want to somehow hold the low leg. So the knee comes out to the side a little bit. Go careful with the knees. I don't think anybody's told me they've got a real knee problem, but go careful with your knees. Keep your foot flexed. So rather than pointing your foot straight, keep it flexed, because that protects the knee, because of the two bones in the lower leg it fixes them a little bit. So protect the knee. And just as comfortably as you can, see if you can just hold that low leg, you know, like you were cradling a little cat or a little baby or something. That's it. Try and sit up as straight as you can, using the block if you need to. And if you can, just see if you can get that low leg as comfortably close into the body, and keep rocking. So we're doing that same rocking action. So we're rocking into the hip. And can you feel the stretch down the whole of the right side of the thigh as we do this? So it's a stretch in the deep hip flexors and moving into the hip socket. And then come to stillness and hold the outside of your right foot. From here, if you can just hold with your right hand the outside of your right foot, okay? You can bend this left knee a little bit if that helps, okay? And just see if you can lift the low leg so that it's slightly parallel to the ground, and then it's just a gentle rocking back and forth, okay? So we're just moving it gently back and forth. So you're moving the knee back behind you and forward again, if you can get the hang of that, just a little bit. So again, we're just rocking and moving into the hips. That's great. You got a bit of cramp? Yeah, you know what to do, don't you? That's it, so just rock, okay, that's great. And then bring the foot down. Have the knee slightly bent. Hook your hands around the back of the thigh to support that leg, and drop the leg down a little bit. And from here, breathe in and really extend the knee. So straighten your leg right out, so really extending the knee. Breathe out and down. Do that 3 more times. Breathe in, extend the knee. So we're taking the knee through its full extension, if we can. Breathe out and down. You can allow the leg to drop so the hamstrings don't have to work quite so hard if you want to. And do this mindfully. And by that I mean take your full attention into the body as you're doing this work. And then release the leg. Foot flat. And then bend the right leg again. And what we're going to try and do is just see if we can take the right foot onto the left thigh somewhere. Okay, so you may very well need to sit on a block. If you need to, you can bend that knee a little bit. But otherwise, onto the right thigh. Hold the right foot and just support that foot, and place your right hand on your thigh, on the thigh of the right leg. Breathe out and just ease the knee down a little bit. Breathe in and release it up. We're going to do this 5 times. So each time on the out breath, just ease the knee down a little bit. Breathe in and up. We may not get it very far. Our knees may be right up here, but each time we're just getting a little bit further. And put the socks on, because sometimes cold feet can get more cramped. So, okay. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Oh, fabulous. That's it. Breathe out. Just see each time if you can get the knee a little bit closer to the ground. So we're working into the hip here. And then when you've done 5, release the knee up, place the foot back down, and stretch that leg out. And just sit back on your hands and just notice how each leg feels now. Perhaps one leg feels a bit different than the other. Perhaps one leg feels a little bit, I don't know, closer to the ground or something, or whatever. And then bend the left knee. And we'll do the same. So first of all, hug around that knee. Hug the foot, lift the foot, hug the leg closer into the body, and just do some gentle rocks. Working into that left hip. So it's particularly, you know, as we get older, as we get into our 40s, and not that that's old, I'm saying that from personal experience. As we get into our 40s, right, we need to work these big joints of the body. This hip joint is the biggest joint of the body. So we're keeping it healthy, working into it, helping to avoid any hip problems in later life. And then raise that low leg. And it may be a bit more difficult on this side or easier. We notice differences. And just cradle that leg, remembering to keep the foot a bit flexed to protect the knee. So you may only be here and then keep the rocking going, or you may be able to get the leg closer into the body. Keep your eye on your knee, keep your feeling sense on your knee, take your awareness into your hip as you just rock from side to side, So it's a big area that tends to hold a lot of energy blockage, this hip and pelvic area. We're working into that. And then release the leg. So what's next? Oh yeah, we added in the new one, didn't we? So hold around the outside of the left foot and just take the leg to where you can get to. See if you can lower so that the low leg is parallel with the floor, if you can. And then you're just easing the knee back, just back and forwards, even if it's just a little bit. Okay, so we're just working it into that hip joint again. Just a few times. Great. Wonderful. And then release the foot down to the floor. So we're going to hold around the back of the thigh. I'm going to do the extension of the knee. Breathe in, extend the leg. Breathe out the foot to the floor. 3 times in total this side. And then Ardha Titali, the last one. So it's working, the postures beforehand are kind of warm-ups for this stronger posture. So take the foot onto the thigh. So ultimately, practicing these postures, we might even be able to get ourselves into the lotus posture ultimately, but that can be a lifelong posture. So put your hand, just rest it gently on the thigh. Breathe out and ease the knee down, just little by little. You know, I've been practicing yoga for 12 years, I've been meditating for, I don't know, 23, not the whole time, on and off. And it's only just lately I've been able to get my body into lotus. I've always said, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered if I can't get into lotus. I don't think my body's built to do the lotus posture. You know, the lotus posture looks like you're tying your legs in knots. And I just let it go. I just let go of even wanting that ambition. But I've just noticed that little by little over the years, your body gives you that bit more. And suddenly, I did lotus the other week and it felt like the most comfortable posture in the world, you know. These things can sometimes just happen. And then release the leg. Straighten that leg out, sit back on the hands a little bit and just notice how the body feels here. And then we're going to do a nice twist. So that was kind of warming us up for this lovely opening twist that we're going to do. So I just want you to watch very quickly first as I just show you the next posture we're going to do. So if you just sit back comfortably and watch. So we're going to begin with our legs crossed. One crossed in front of the other to begin with. And we're going to take our hand to the outside of the foot, a bit like we did in that one posture previously. We're going to sit upright. We're going to breathe in. And as we breathe out, we're going to open the leg and open the arm and look back at the outstretched arm like this. So we breathe in and we breathe out. So we're opening the body, we're opening the leg, we're opening the hip. And we're opening to look back at the outstretched hand on an out breath. Okay, we're going to do that 5 times to each side. It's a lovely opening posture. So if you can just sit cross-legged with your right leg in front of the left. Takes a little bit of getting used to if you don't always sit with the legs in this way. You know, we always cross our arms one way and we always cross our legs one way. So when we cross them a different way, it can feel quite odd. This might be the right way that you do anyway. So legs crossed. Just lift the right knee. Lift your right knee and take your hand to the outside of the foot. Okay, sit on the block if you need to and have your hand just resting on the left knee and see if we can just do this. Just do the movement to begin with. Just see if you can stretch the leg out and then stretch the arm out and then look back at the arm and then come back to center and then we're going to do it with the breath. That's great. So we know the movement. So breathe in, sit. Now, this might be the hardest thing of all. We've got to cross our legs the other way. And how odd that sometimes feels. So do the same. So lift the left leg at the knee. Just let the knee float up. Hold around that foot, somewhere comfortable on the outside of the foot. Have the hand on the right knee. Okay, we're going to do it with the breath. So just as far as you're comfortable moving. So breathe in, lift up nice and tall. And as you breathe out, open. Look back at the hand outstretched, or just look at the outstretched hand. Breathe in, come back to center, that's lovely. Breathe out again, just open. Breathe into center, working with your breath, that's it. So 3 more times. Breathe out, fantastic. That's it, working with your breath. Sitting on the block if you need to. Okay, fantastic. And when you finish, just come to a comfortable cross-leg posture and just notice how you feel. Notice how the body feels. So we're working with the breath and with the energy of the breath and the body. So we're going to look at our hamstrings next. So these are the 3 long muscles in the back of the thigh that often restrict our movement quite considerably and put us into quite demanding postures for our body, really, sometimes like sway back and things. So we're going to be lengthening those. So if we can just come to all fours kneeling. That's it. So comfortably with the hands just beneath the shoulders and the knees about hip distance apart. That's it. And the buttocks lifted, the front of the feet flat. That's it. And the back nice and straight. And the head just looking down at the space between the hands. So bring your hands a little bit more forward. Yeah. Just lift up, yeah. Just taking it to how you're happy. That's great. And just step your right foot between your hands. So just lift the right knee and shuffle that foot. Might be a bit of a shuffle. You might need to take it to the outside first and then move the hand to the outside of the foot. Just so that the right foot is between the hands. Yeah. And feel free, if you need to actually take the arm and just scoot it round a little bit. So the hands are just resting on the floor. And what we're going to do is just feel the foot here, the right foot, in good contact with the floor. The head looking down. And keep breathing. There's no particular breath to work with on this. Just keep breathing. But start to shift your weight forwards. So shift your weight forwards over the right knee. So the right knee comes forwards and you get a stretch down the front of the left thigh. Okay? And then scoot it back. So taking the buttocks back so that you keep the right foot where it is and you just stretch out through the right leg. See if you can get that leg as straight as you can get and then move it forwards again. So we're just slowly moving forwards and back. Each time, see if you can get a little bit more of a stretch through that right leg. Little by little. If there's a lot of tightness and tension there, just keep working with this posture. Each time, millisecond by millisecond, your body gives you a little bit more. And keep your awareness, as you take the buttocks back, keep your awareness on the back of the thigh, the hamstring stretch. And as you take your leg forward, keep your awareness on the front of the left thigh, the psoas stretch. And the next time you take your buttocks back, just see if you can rest here for a breath or two. So taking the buttocks back, extending that leg, keeping the head and the neck nice and soft. Take a breath or two. And then bring the leg back to upright. Take the foot back, come back onto the knees, and have a little rest out if you need to. Either just come back to kneeling or come to a point where you can just rest the head down onto the floor or rest through the arms into Shankasana. We'll do the same on the left leg. So come back up to all fours kneeling. Take the left foot through between the hands. Might be, take it to the outside, then shuffle in, swap the arm over, come to a position that's comfortable. And the other thing to remember, if this knee that's on the floor feels a little bit, bony or whatever, you can always put a jumper or some padding underneath it. And then just start the movement, just working in your own time. Remember to keep breathing. So scoot the weight forwards. So you feel a stretch down through the left calf and into the heel. And then take the knee back, just working with your own body. Feeling the stretch as you take the buttocks back, down the back of the left thigh. Forwards and back. Just gentle movements. Working with the breath. Feeling the stretch and opening in the hips and the legs. Working slowly. Making sure that you can really feel into each movement. So as you take the weight forward, you can really feel a stretch down the front of the right thigh, this psoas muscle. which, because we tend to sit a lot, often gets very tight. And is linked to breathing as well, actually. And as you take the buttocks back, they stretch down the hamstrings. These muscles that through postural imbalance and all sorts of things often get very, very tight. So we're working with this simple movement into a lot of muscles that get very tight. Tight muscles release, result in energy imbalances and blocked energy in the body because they restrict, well, blood flow even, or energy flow certainly. And then the next time you take the weight back, just see if you can hold the stretch just for a breath, breathing in, breathing out. And then come back to upright. Bring the foot back down and either kneel back to just sit back or into Shashankasana, stretching through the arms, taking the forehead to the floor. Okay, and when you're ready, just come back to all fours kneeling. I'm just going to do a little bit of work into beginning the warrior sequence of postures. So again, it's very strengthening for the legs and hips. So from all fours, once more, just take your right foot forwards and scoot it, shuffle it through so it's between the hands. Okay, using a little bit of support under that other knee if you need it. So we've all got there. And from here, take one hand on top of your right knee and the other hand on top of your right knee. Everybody happy doing that? Everybody okay with the knees in this? Yeah, you can always put some padding under your knees. Make sure the front of the feet are flat, if you're happy to do that. The toes can be tucked under, but it's easier if the front of the feet are flat. Now this looks easy, but what we tend to do in this is that we tend to be sticking our bum out a little bit because it makes it easier for the body. So we tend to be either a bit hunched over or the bum sticking out. Now what I want you to do is pretend that the pelvis has got headlights on it and we're taking the headlights from dipped to full beam, if you like. So I want you to lengthen your tailbone, to kind of tilt your pelvis back and down. And you'll feel a stretch down your left front of the thigh. Can you all feel that? Yeah, that's the psoas muscle in particular. I mean, it's the quadriceps a little bit, but in particular, the psoas is being worked. The psoas works from the lumbar spine, the bottom of the spine, and it connects all the way down through the pelvis onto the femur, often very tight, so we're just lengthening through that. So we're doing some good work lengthening that. And if you're happy, just drop your hands down by the side of the body. You can come out of this at any point, but breathe in and lift, bringing the arms to upright. Palms together, the arms upright. Dropping the shoulder blades down into the back and just keeping the head looking forwards. That's lovely, that's it. And coming back down onto the floor. Just taking the hands back down onto the floor. And scooting the foot back, having a little rest out. Into Shashankasana again, or the swan posture. Forehead to the floor, or those little pillars with the hands just to rest out. So we do the same on the other side. So come up to all fours kneeling when you're ready. Okay, so hands on the floor and just scoot the left foot through and between the hands and just rest here. If we're doing this in the chair, of course, the knees are already bent, so we can just place the hands on the knees as we lift up and just put the hands on the knee. And then make the tailbone long. So tilt the pelvis. You can actually put your hands on your pelvis if you want. We're making the tailbone long, so we're from kind of dipped headlights to full beam, if you like. It's the best analogy. Have the hands by the side of the legs. That's it. And breathe in and lift. So this is the warrior, taking the shoulder blades down and into the back, feeling that stretch down the front of the right thigh, feeling the foot in contact with the floor, breathing in and out, keep breathing. And breathe out to bring the hands back down to the floor. Take the foot back and just ease out. If you're in the chair, you can just fold forwards onto the front legs and just rest out. Great stuff. Okay, so just come to a comfortable seated posture we're going to do a little bit more work on the knees, but just rest out for a minute. I'm just going to show you the next posture. So this next posture is essentially a back bend. For those of you who aren't able to just get down into this posture here today, obviously you can practice it at home. But it's essentially a back bend. So if you're in the chair, you can just be working with the back and easing into the back bend. Okay. I'm going to just show you the posture from kneeling. It's called Ashtanga Mudra. So let me just show you to begin with, because it's initially, when you first do it, it's often just a little bit to get your head around, so that's quite simple in many ways. So we start from all fours kneeling, just like we were. And I think probably the best thing that you can do is to take the hands a little bit wider to begin with anyway, and to scoot them a little bit forwards. So instead of having them here, we take them wider and we just move them a little bit forwards. And essentially, Ashtanga Mudra, we're going to take our chest and our chin to the floor and leave our buttocks in the air, if you like. So we're going to tuck the toes under, so the toes are bent, and then we take the chest and the chin to the floor, like this. So it's not the most graceful looking posture, and we just rest here, and then we can just shuffle the body flat to rest out on the floor. Okay, so we're just going to do that a couple of times. So I'll just show you again. It's a matter of a little bit of upper body strength as well. So we take the chest and the chin to the floor, and we tuck the elbows closer into the body. It'll feel a bit unnatural, but it's a great back bend. It's very, very good for working on the back. And then we can just flatten the body, either by scooting the body forwards or just taking the feet back, and just rest out. Okay, so it's quite an important posture. So if you can come to all fours kneeling. So it's very opening for the body. It's a very good posture for depression in particular. And it's working on awareness of the heart. So when we drop down into the posture, I'll come around and just make sure everyone's okay doing it. Keep your awareness in the heart centre. So take your hands wide, if you haven't already done so, and move them a little bit forwards. I mean, some of you may not need to do this. It just depends on upper body strength. Tuck your toes under, remember to do that. And then see if you can just bend the elbows and drop the chest and the chin to the floor. That's it. You may need to come down onto your elbows first, but otherwise, pressing the hands, the chest and the chin into the floor. That's it. So the bum's sticking up in the air, but it's a phenomenal back bend. And just rest here. That's it, lovely. And then straighten out, straighten out. So just scoot the body back, forward, so that you can just rest out on the floor. That's it. Nearly. And try again. So like this. Chest and the chin to the floor.
Yeah. I'm just, right, okay.
Yeah. Try that. Great stuff. Yeah, you're doing really well. You get the hang of it. Okay, have a little rest out, and we'll just do it once more. Okay, so just push up to all fours kneeling. That's it. So just push into the hands, lift the body up, come back to all fours, and we'll try it again. So the knees are about hip width apart, and the hands a little bit wider if you need them to be, just helps with the upper body strength, and a little bit more forwards. Okay, you get to know your body in this posture. You may not need to do that. You may leave the hands where they are. And just see on an out breath, so breathe in, and as you breathe out, bend the elbows, and just see if you can ease the chest and the chin to the floor. So you have to really bend your elbows, tuck them into your body, the bum sticking up. And if you can't hold it for long, just stretch out and flatten out when you can. Anthony, you're doing really well. You might want to just try this a little bit as well.
Okay.
Instead, if you're having real trouble, yeah, you can try that. That's it. And when you're ready, just ease the body out. So slide the body forwards, slide the body back, and just rest out. Rest on the front of the hands, the cheeks just resting on the hands. Have a little rest out. That's it. Deceptively simple, but a good work into the back. So it can be a little bit difficult the first times we do it.